Hello YouTube, this is Richard, founder of ShortTermRentalSecrets.com and Airbnb Superhost, and welcome back to another edition of our member listing reviews. Today we're going to be reviewing Bailey's listing. She's active on our Facebook group and on YouTube, and so we're excited to see what Bailey's done with her spacious one-bedroom in Easton Town Center, Columbus, Ohio. To remind everybody, we do this in 5 sections. The first one we discuss is the title, then we talk about the photos in the order that Bailey selected, the thumbnail she's using, finally, the description, which is the written copy, and then we talk about the reviews that Bailey's got, and she's got 17. So let's go ahead and get started right now. The title, Spacious One Bedroom at Easton Town Center. So what I would say is, I think it's descriptive, it's spacious, it's one bedroom, and it says the location. Since I'm not familiar with Columbus, Ohio, Easton Town Center doesn't mean very much to me, but I'm presuming that it's meaningful for people that are staying in Columbus, Ohio. If that's the case, if that's sort of like, if you're staying in Manhattan, it says it's Times Square or it's Upper East Side or something that's meaningful to people, then I think it's good. If Easton Town Center is just where it's located and it's not an area that people are looking for, I might change that. And I wish I could offer more insight, but I'm not familiar with it. Let's turn to the photos in the order, and as always, I'm going to click through right now and just take a look. Okay, so Bailey, let's take a look at the photos. I think that they're taken pretty well in the sense that the lighting is good, and I think that the height is good. I think you could do a little bit better in the way of staging, and what I mean by that is this room just looks a little bit empty, and these throw pillows that are piled over here just look a little bit like random. I'm not sure why they're there. I also see a little bit of clutter, this yellow thing, I'm not sure exactly what it is, and while I like the chest as your coffee table, and I do similar things in some of my homes, it just looks a little barren. Perhaps even just like a throw rug with some color underneath here would be really good. And this throw here, while I like the throw, it looks a little bit messy. So maybe just retake the shot, clean up these pillows, get rid of the yellow thing. If you have the budget to get a small little carpet, like a 6x9 carpet that adds a little color, that'd be cool. And then I think this throw, if it was folded better, even if that's the way you like to look at it, if you look through any of the magazines that decorate homes, I think you'll find them slightly different. And then this wall here looks really big and sort of empty, so maybe something here would be good. I like this shot again, it's the right height, the clean apartment. I can see like the vacuum line, so it's obviously really nice and clean. I guess this is the dining table perhaps with these chairs and the pillows. If this is in fact the dining table, then I might put some plates there or a glass of wine or something, and same sort of thing on the kitchen counter here. The magnets and everything are nice and neat, so they don't really distract me. And if this is an eat-in island, I can't tell from the overhang, but if there's an overhang here, maybe a couple of stools here so people could have breakfast at the eat-in counter would be really interesting. Again, I can't really tell about that from here, but I like this shot in the sense that I can see how nice and bright it is and that there's windows and there's trees outside. So I might put, again, I've said this in some of the other videos, I see that you've got some foliage here, some green plants, maybe a nice flower pot of a vase, an orchid, something to just add a little bit more welcoming hospitality. The bedroom looks very minimal. I think perhaps putting a throw pillow would be helpful. I think that this lamp here on the headboard looks a little bit dangerous. It looks sort of out of place. Perhaps instead of putting a chair here, you put a nightstand, or use the chair as a nightstand, put the table lamp on the chair, maybe an alarm clock or something, and then maybe a piece of artwork. You can get this stuff relatively inexpensively or secondhand, or a reproduction poster. It doesn't really matter. But when I look at this room, while it looks nice and clean, it doesn't look particularly like inviting. It looks more utilitarian is what I would call it. This wall has some art, and that's really nice. The mirror here, I suppose that's probably the best place for it. Just as a side note, from a liability perspective, I might make sure that that's anchored into the wall so that if somebody stays there and it doesn't fall on them. I'm always looking at liability because unfortunately liability is the single largest thing that can kill our growing business. If somebody does something stupid and it should have never happened or whatever, but they get injured and all of a sudden you've got a lawsuit on your hands and you're out of business. So I always look at things from a liability and a sustainability perspective, like what could go wrong, and let me fix that. This looks really nice. I like the bookshelf. There's obviously some games here. I love the camera up here. It's these little things that add personality, and so I think this is a really nice addition. I'm not sure that the photo really shows too much, except that, you know, there's the living room here, and I guess this is probably where the bathroom goes. One comment that I seem to repeat on almost all of these reviews is you're not taking advantage of using the photo labels intelligently for maximum effect. So spacious one bedroom at Easton Town Center repeated 9 times doesn't add a lot of value. But if you say something like, imagine coming home and playing Jenga with your loved one or your spouse or your kid, or, you know, I don't know, just whatever the photo is, say something about it that envisions the experience and it highlights to people how you use the home, how they might use the home, how others use the home. And that little bit of personality, believe it or not, could sway somebody from staying at some competing Airbnb and into yours. The bathroom, you know, bathroom shots are always hard. There's never anything particularly great to say about it. It does look like perhaps you're missing a hand towel here, and on these hooks maybe put a robe or something. I'm sure that this was staged to show the Colgate and the toothbrush, but it's not clear to me whether those are new and for like guests, like you put them out for every guest, or that's just yours and you put it there and, you know, arranged it neatly. It looks a little bit strange to me. I might shoot that again and again, maybe put a candle, maybe put another orchid or something. Bring this room that's pretty like gray and clean, it's really clean, but give it a little bit of color, give it a little bit of life, give it a little personality. Take the shot with a candle, even light the candle. One thing I would suggest, I do see a candle here, but one thing that I would suggest is put the seat down and try not to get the toilet in the shot. Everybody knows that there's a toilet, but it doesn't really add a lot of value and probably turns people off more than it turns people on. But if you have to have the shot with the toilet, go ahead and put the seat down so we're not like staring into like, you know, the abyss. Again, really nice and clean. I like the fact that you provide shampoo here for whatever reason. For me, it's evident that this is going to be there when I check in. But a toothbrush, you know, I'm not sure, are you giving me a toothbrush? It's kind of grosses me out a little bit, but I feel very differently about the shampoo and the body wash. I assume that that's there for guests, and that's cool. And if you felt so inclined, maybe another hook here for a bathrobe or a different towel or something, but that's not a big deal. Okay, so here you are using the titles. There's a key fob for the pool will be on the keychain. That's pretty cool. You know, you might want to include things like when the pool is open, either what months or what hours, something like that. But I love the fact that there's a photo. The one thing I would say about this photo is it's not particularly high resolution, so you might want to shoot it again and just make it as high resolution as the rest of your photos. And I think that's all 9 of them. So overall, I think that the photos show that it's a really well-maintained and nice and clean place. But I think from a decor perspective and a welcoming warmth perspective, there's a few really simple things that you could do that would add a ton of value to the listing itself and probably the unit also. So I hope you found that interesting. In conclusion, I think that the photos do a good job. A few minor things would be really helpful. And what's kind of interesting to me as I reflect back on it is, you know, the whole title says that we're in Easton Town Center. I already said I don't really know where that is or how important that is, but there's not a single photo of Easton Town Center or the surrounds or what somebody might do in Easton Town Center. And so that's an opportunity to go out and take some photos of the neighborhood, take a photo of your corner, take a photo of the local pub, the local whatever, you know, coffee shop, or if it's the middle of like everything, then just take some of those photos, but that'll really highlight to people why they're choosing your place in the middle of Easton Town Center. In fact, we filmed a video on how to photograph your neighborhood and some of the things that help people understand sort of the experience that they might have. So if you haven't seen that, go ahead and watch that video. That'd be a good idea. Now, turning to the thumbnail, having looked at all your photos, I think that the best shot that you have is in fact the living room shot. So I like this photo. Again, I would do the few things that I suggested, like the rug and an orchid, and move these pillows, fix the throw a little bit, and then I'd probably take this shot again. I like the fact that you can make out a television here in the corner, so I would try and make sure that you capture that. And then I think some art here, something colorful. All of the art that I've seen and that I look at now and I think that I recall tends to be posters that are white and black, and that's cool, but maybe it's time to have something that's got a little bit more color, just to make the room pop a little bit. So I think the thumbnail is good, but I'd probably reshoot it with a little bit of the suggestions that I made and see if you like it. If you don't like it, run with this because it's fine. But I think if you do what I said, you'll probably agree that it is more visually appealing to more people, and that's what we're trying to do, is appeal to everyone. Okay, so let's turn to the description, and there's some things that I really like here. Again, you talk about that you're right in Easton Town Center, and there's plenty of shopping, restaurants, and grocery. As I suggested in the photos, it'd be a really good idea to show some of that, show people what you're close to. I love that it's easy access to highways and back roads and convenient to the airport and downtown. Light and bright and simple. It's cool. I love the way that you describe who it's good for. Great fit for couples, business travelers, and families. Pets welcome. This is sort of unique. It's very rare that we see places that are pets welcome. And I think the fact that you highlight the allergy alert is really important and a good thing. I wonder, not that you're going to change your life, but just as an aside, I wonder how much this is hurting your business or how much it's helping. My gut tells me that net it's a negative. Not that you're going to change it. I'm not suggesting to get rid of your cat, and I think it's great that you highlight it, but I just wonder how many people don't really want to stay in a place where a cat lives and it could, have hair or urine smell or whatever. Just aside. I like the way that you've described it. It's cozy and minimal, and you have board games and so on. Again, the second allergy alert, I think that that's great. But what's interesting for me is there's not a ton of description. It's a very limited description, especially relative to a lot of the other listings that we've reviewed. And one thing that's missing is, in doing a little bit of research, it seems like you're very close to Ohio State. And that must be an unbelievable opportunity for people that are coming either for games or to visit their kids at college. And you have no mention of that as, this is a perfect place for it. We're 15 minutes away. So it seems like a missed opportunity to go ahead and highlight, the fact that so many people come to Columbus to visit their kids at college and you're centrally located or convenient. So I'd definitely change and add that to your description. And I'm not so sure about this 1 bedroom, 2 beds, because it's 1 bedroom. I only saw 1 bed, which is the master. And then down here, when I do a little bit more work, it's apparent that what you're talking about is queen mattress, a queen air mattress, and a comfortable couch for sleeping 2. I'm assuming that you charge more money for extra people. Actually, you don't. No charge. And it just seems to me, Bailey, that if you're going to put 5 people in a 1 bedroom, you should get paid for that. Personally, I wouldn't do that with my space. That's a lot of wear and tear. It's a lot of people. It's an unbelievable value. And so I would charge more, charge $10 per person more if you're comfortable with 5 people, and now you're just increasing your revenue and your costs haven't gone up at all. So really that's all profit. So to the extent that you're okay with that, charge for it. I don't think anybody's going to be turned down. You can't possibly stay 5 people in a 1 bedroom for $70 per night for less. So it's still a great deal. Again, I say this all the time. I don't really believe in weekly discounts or monthly discounts. You're just taking money out of your pocket. At the prices that you're charging, it's still a great deal. And experiment with it. Turn it off. I don't even know. My guess is that you're probably not doing too much in the way of monthly discounts. Are you moving out with your cat for a month at a time? Maybe you are for a week, but if somebody wants to take your place for a week, they'll likely pay full price. And so this 10% is literally just profit that's going out. And that's one of the things that I see a lot with people that are just getting started in short-term rentals. What they're worried about is the fear of vacancy, as opposed to thinking about the opportunity of charging more. And there's a price where the market sort of clears. So if that market clears your price on a short-term rental, you don't need to discount it. Just move away from that logic, stop fearing the vacancy, and instead use something like Beyond Pricing that we recommend for dynamic pricing, and it sort of takes care of it. And I'm wondering if you do in fact have, it looks like you have very limited availability until we get to November, and it looks like you're using some sort of smart pricing. But look, there we go, 10% weekly discount. That's $66 coming out of your pocket, and I'm not sure that that's really worth it. Back to the description here. I see the cancellations as moderate. That's your choice. I personally believe in stricter, although I also recognize that that's becoming less and less common every day. You have 2-night minimums on the weekends. That's your choice. And I think overall, the description is fairly accurate, missing a really good opportunity for Columbus schools, and I think it could actually be elaborated on a little bit more. You know, you don't talk at all about the pool here. So match the photos with the description, be more elaborate in the photos and be more elaborate in the description. Again, you're trying to convince people to stay here. This is the only marketing you do, right? Like nobody knows you, nobody knows anything about you. All they know is what you choose to share with them and show them, and so you want to just be as thorough as possible. So to that end, realize that if you don't tell people a lot and you don't show people a lot, they're probably not going to pay a lot. But if you show people a lot and you show them a great time in the location and you paint this picture and then you talk about it in the description and it looks, you know, really elaborate and enticing, chances are you can raise your prices. And again, since the name of the game here is to have less occupancy and charge higher rates, which translates to more profits, these are all things that I think you could really do, and it seems like you're doing it quite well, but there's an opportunity here to make even more money. So now let's move on to the review, the final thing here. 17 5-star reviews. Yes, Bailey. And look at this very first one. You can't make this stuff up. Mandy, pictures don't do this place justice. That's telling, right? Like the fact that your photos don't tell the full story, and your comment right here justifies that, tells you that there's room for improvement, and I think you should. The location is even better. See, it's right across the street from the mall that has so much to offer and a quick ride downtown, and Bailey was a great host, so that's terrific. Again, so convenient to Easton shopping and eateries. You need to really take some of those photos. Easy to work with, definitely recommend Bailey's space. More than met our expectations, very clean, can't say enough things. No pictures do this apartment justice. Now we're hearing it twice. Bailey was a perfect host, she was responsive, that's great. She brought her 2 cats, you know. Okay, I'm, you know, still uncertain about that, but that's your choice. Her apartment was clean, definitely stay here again. We're gonna just go to the second page and see if we get something that's interesting. This is a reminder, Bailey, you're a little delinquent on responding to some of these other ones. I love the way that you've responded here. And this is a nice personal touch. I recommend this all the time. Hope you have a nice family reunion, right? That's only said to them. That's great. But I think it's time to catch up on August and September comments. Let's see, a beautiful apartment, went out of her way to settle me in. Bailey was great to work with. Thank you for your sweet review. Okay, so look, the reviews are all consistent. You're getting 5 stars. Obviously, you're a great host. You care a lot. The apartment's clean. Interestingly, the same thing that I picked up on, which is that we're not highlighting the photos properly, and we're also not, you know, picking up on the location being photographed. It seems to be evident in the reviews, and I love the fact that you're responding with personal stuff. So keep that up and just try and be a little bit more consistent and bring that up to date. But overall, you know, 17 5-star reviews. Thoroughly enjoyed reviewing your place here, Bailey. And you know, one thing that I see here is that you just joined in May of 2017. So that's May, June, July, August, September. Like you're in your 5th month. You've got 18 5-star reviews. You're a super host. It may not be acknowledged now, but you're going to get that status. It's amazing. I'm so glad that you're, you know, active in the Facebook group and on YouTube watching the videos. You clearly care. You're learning. You're, you know, educating yourself, and that's so rewarding. And I hope we've been helpful in some of this and continue to be helpful on a go-forward basis. So thanks so much, Bailey. Really appreciate your time, and I hope this little review generates more profits for you and others that are watching. Little takeaways. We love your feedback. We love your comments. To the extent that you have suggestions for Bailey, leave them. You know, nobody's going to take anything personally, but just be nice, right? Like we're a nice-minded community. We just want to be better hosts, and we want to make more money. That's it. Like the video, please, and if you haven't subscribed, please do that too. Until then, happy hosting. Have a great day.